I think if we take a look at the speech of Vladimir Putin, then it's very interesting. He is, like you mentioned, contradicting himself. For instance, he is claiming that Ukraine basically, if we take a look at the whole speech, has no right to exist. It has no history of statehood, he claims. But that is very interesting because in 2014, when Viktor Yanukovych fled the country to Russia, he said Viktor Yanukovych is the official and legitimate president of Ukraine. So back then, when he had an ally of Russia as a president, it was a legitimate country for him. So what you can see is that for Russian politics, only countries that are very pro-Russian are legitimate countries, and countries with independent policy are not. There is also, when we take a look at this speech, there is a lot of history lessons, so-called history lessons by Vladimir Putin. We can see that real historians, they do absolutely not agree with his claims that Ukraine has no history of a nation state. And if we take a look at the last 30 years, we have to say that Ukraine is a recognized member of the international community. It has diplomatic relations with almost all countries on the world, and it's a member of the United Nations. So we see it is a country, and we should not forget about it when Russia tries to claim otherwise. What we also saw in the speech are assumptions that Ukraine is going to be a security threat for Russia, that Ukraine wants to become a member of NATO, so they can probably attack Russia or something like that. So he wants to create fear in the Russian population. None of this has any basis, any evidence, but he does not need evidence for his speech because it is always something to make the Russian population afraid. And when people are afraid, they tend to support him. So he needs this tension in his propaganda regime. What we also saw in the speech, beside the history lessons, was that he felt betrayed by the West. This is something where there are many different opinions about NATO enlargement and so on. But he did not mention that all the countries that become member of NATO become this voluntarily because they want to be secured. And right now we see they have every reason to be a little bit afraid of Russia because countries that are not member of NATO got attacked, for instance, Georgia and now Ukraine since 2014.